Hi everybody, it's Stephanie. We are starting a new thing today on our channel, and it is a wedding how-to for Americans wanting to get married abroad in Europe. I obviously can't speak to other countries abroad, but I have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to get married either in France or in the Netherlands like we did, because about a little over a month ago, JV and I did tie the knot officially in the Netherlands after, we've been together 8 years. So that was a fun experience. I don't have, aside from our wedding, I don't have any actual wedding planning experience, but my degree is in hospitality and tourism management. I did take event planning courses during COVID when I got really bored. I did also take a wedding planning certification course, so I am actually a professionally certified wedding planner. This was fun. That my very first wedding I've ever got to plan has been my own. That was definitely a learning experience, especially because it wasn't just the planning of a wedding. All of my studies, everything that I have has been for the US, not really for a Eurocentric background. So that was a very different experience to have to be going through Europe for things, because it wasn't just that we had to get things taken care of for the Netherlands, but we also had to get it taken care of for France. I am German as well, so we had to look into some German rules, and above all, keeping with American stuff as well. The most interesting thing has been to kind of tie our two cultures together. It was walking a fine line in between not just being Dutch, because while I do love the Netherlands, I am not Dutch. That is not my culture. There are still a lot of things about the Netherlands I don't quite understand, and not everything I agree with. And that's another story. So there was a really fine line of how are we going to do things that honors who I am as half German, half American, and the traditions that I've grown up when it comes to weddings, and how are we going to honor JV's culture, JV's heritage, and how are we going to marry all of that together? No pun intended. So it was a lot of finesse that got us to our end result. I have a few pictures here for you. Absolute dream day. It was the most magical day of my life. JV cried multiple times, and that was nice because that made me feel really pretty. So basically what we wanted to start doing for you guys here is starting the process for my fellow Americans who might want to get married in the Netherlands or in France. This is for you, because I know when I first started this whole process, I didn't have anybody who had gone really through that process of how to marry our two cultures, and I didn't really have a contact of somebody who could help me with what I would need to do when it came to wedding planning. I know a lot of people pay for a wedding planner. That wasn't ever something we wanted to do, because A, that was above our budget. That's not, and B, we didn't see the need in paying someone to do what we could do. Because while like I said, I have my professional certification, JV has an attention to detail that is incredible. Anybody who has met JV, who knows JV, he takes a lot of pictures. If you are friends with JV on Facebook, you'll always see JV has posted 85 pictures, 122 pictures, something like that. He's always posting pictures, and it's because there's a lot of times, especially at Disney, there's a lot of changes, and he's like, well, last week they used this flower, this week they used this flower. So he wants to go and document that, there's a changing of flowers, because that changing of flowers is a changing of the seasons, or is a different theme for like International Women's Day, or for the Princess Week, or something like that. So he always likes to document it, and his attention for those really small things is fantastic. Because, and that's also why we worked well together, is with my ADHD, I tend to be a big picture kind of person. And with my big picture kind of person, I can sometimes forget little details because I'm like, okay, it's done, let's move on to the next thing. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You forgot these little things to do. And I'm like, yeah, but it's fine. And for him, it's not. So when you put the two of us together, that means A+ wedding. And on top of that, we had this bad boy. You can see all of the paper in there. That's like 200 pages of paper of wedding planning. And there's like scheduling in here. I got it from a Dutch website because I was really debating what kind of wedding planner I wanted to kind of use. And I mean like a physical paper wedding agenda type planner, not a wedding planner person. And so for the paper, that did come from a Dutch website because I figured, okay, well, we are getting married in the Netherlands, because that was always something that was very, very important for JV, was getting married in his home church. So we wanted to make sure that we did that. And so I was like, okay, well, let me get a Dutch wedding planner, and I can translate it. It's not a problem. I speak Dutch. I can read in Dutch. We're fine. So I did that, and that was really, really helpful. It was also nice to see wedding planning-wise. The Netherlands and the U.S. are pretty much same line, which is great. But it's just some little cultural things that were different. The biggest change, or the biggest thing, today we're just pretty much going over the general rundown, and then we'll start a smaller series of like individual things that we did. But basically our general rundown was, in 2022, JV proposed to me. Video here.
Part of the 50th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom, we invite you to celebrate 50 years of friendship with Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair. In just a few moments, it all starts right here, where the magic feels like home.
And then we did, well, dates are really important for JV. So he wanted to do a date that would be kind of memorable. And for that memorable date, initially we thought about doing the 5th of May, 2025, because then you get 5/5/25. And the cool thing about that would have been for the Americans, and for the Europeans, it would have been 5/5. No problem with that. The problem is May 5th in the Netherlands is Memorial Day or Remembrance. It's Liberation Day. Oh, Liberation Day. That's what it was. It's Liberation Day for the Netherlands. And every 5 years, that means it's a national holiday. Why it's not a national holiday all the time, I'm not fully sure. But every 5 years, it is a national holiday. And it just so happened that this was one of those 5 years that it happened to be a national holiday. And JV didn't want to do it on a national holiday. And I understood that. And I said, honestly, I didn't really want to do it on the 5th of May either, because the Americans are going to associate that with Cinco de Mayo, and I don't want people to be like, oh, Taco Tuesday on our wedding. And that wasn't what I felt like either. So we ended up deciding for the 25th of May, 2025. So 25/5/25 for the Europeans, and then 5/25/25 for the Americans. It's still nice either way. So between 2022 and 2025, we had quite a lot of time to plan. I'll talk about my wedding dress planning. I have loads of pictures for that, loads of videos for that. After that, before my wedding dress was chosen, we did go to a bridal fair that they had at Erestein Castle in Kerkrade. That is the south of the Netherlands, just across the border from Germany. And they had a lot of vendors there. It was a great opportunity for us to walk around. I knew of some potential venues that I had wanted to look at, and we did look at them, but we ended up choosing Erestein, and we're really happy that we went with them because they were fantastic. So I'll go through my whole process with them as well. So we did we had our location chosen, we got my dress chosen, so then it came down to all the little details about everything else we had to do. Choosing JV suits, which he went with a Dutch brand, even my dresses from the Netherlands. Our cake, we had to figure out how we were going to do that because JV is celiac, he can't eat gluten, so that was a challenge as well. Figuring out how best to send invitations because, are we going to are we going to pay for the post? We live in France. I mean, even in the Netherlands, it's also expensive. But I didn't want to send invitations that would never arrive. So then you would have to do track and trace for your invitations. And for that was like €4 per envelope. And I mean, even for like not track and trace, it still would have been $2.50 or something like that per invitation. And I said, that's a lot of money for us for international invitations that might never even get there. So we went with digital invitations. And then it was figuring out, how do we balance language? How do we make our programs for the Catholic Mass in 2 languages? Luckily, I was in a Catholic wedding group on Facebook that somebody else let me see the Catholic Mass that she made for Spanish and English, so I can make her, so I kind of used that as a little bit of a base, edited things for, of course, the Catholic Mass, and the church also gave us a one language, a monolingual Mass book program thing that we could follow along. And so I took that and I kind of, between all of those sources, I was able to make the Mass program that we made. So that was all a process. It was a lot of work, but the end result of our wedding was phenomenal. Honestly, I couldn't be happier with what we created with our wedding. I'm sad that it's over. That's the worst part, is we put so much work and effort into it, and we worked so long on it, and then it's over. And that part's not fun. But they gave me a lot of great experience, and like my dream is eventually I would love to be able to work with Fairy Tale Weddings. It's my absolute dream to work with that department. And so that has now given me, being able to work on my own wedding has given me the experience that I can go in if I ever get a chance to work on another wedding. That would be fantastic. And I already have that experience built up for that. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to bring this video to an end because we're now running around 15-ish minutes and I don't want to take up all of your day. So to share my experience, I'm going to start my little series. My next episode, I'm going to do it on venues and how we went through our process of choosing a venue, what worked for us, what didn't work for us, and you guys can take that however you'd like it. I'm not saying we're going to end all be all, but I do have to say our wedding was pretty awesome. So until the next time I see you, which maybe next week, not sure how often we're going to do these videos, but in 2 weeks we do have our honeymoon in the the happiest place on earth. I was getting that confused for a second with Walt Disney World because that is my home, the most magical place on earth. But no, we're going to the happiest place on earth to be part of the 70th anniversary at the Disneyland Resort, and we are so excited for that, and we're so happy that that gets to be our honeymoon. So, until the next time that I see you guys, bye!